Okay, so let us start. Okay, so last class we discussed the concepts. So today let us show how everything works in Jupyter Notebook as well as the Colab, Google Colab. Let me see. Yeah, I should have Google Colab open, didn't do I? Yeah, I also have Google Colab. Okay, so first let's take a look Jupyter Notebook. So here, so Jupyter Notebook is on web browser. Okay, but this Jupyter Notebook it is still local. Okay, because I started. I typed the command line. Okay. And started the Jupyter Notebook. You can also start from Anaconda. So later on, I'm going to show Anaconda and Spider for a little bit. Okay. And so for Jupyter Notebook, if you take a look, so here we have a cell. But on this cell, if you take a close look, you will see they are all just words. Okay, so this is kind of like a programming language comments. But the nice thing for this kind of cell in Jupyter Notebook, we call it Markdown. Did you see over here? There's Markdown. Okay, so it's called Markdown cell. And this cell is also Markdown cell. And for Markdown cell, if we click, so here you run each cell. So then after you click run, it moves to the next cell, and you can click run. Okay. And you can also click on the menu. There is also option about run. Okay. And for run, you can run selected cell. You can also run like all cells. So there are different options and you can try. Okay. So this is Markdown cell. And for Markdown cell, if you are familiar with HTML language, especially the CSS, that can help you a lot if you want to do a certain style formatting. And then your paragraph, it will look nicely formatted like a web page. Okay, so that's a nice thing about the Markdown cell. So there are a lot of similarities, okay, between Markdown cell formatting and the HTML. And here is starting, this is called code cell. So did you see, if I click here, it show Markdown. Click this cell, it show Markdown. And click here, it show code. Okay, so this is called code cell. And for code cell, it also mark as like the cell number. Okay, and looks like it's not follow exactly like the cell number. Okay, for some reason here. And for any programming language, last class we said that Python programming language, not just Python, but any programming language starts with variable. Okay, and for Python variable, it doesn't have type. So Python is not a typed programming language, not like Java, C++. Those languages, they are strongly typed programming language. So their variable need to have a data type associated with it, but that's not true for Python. Okay, and we also saw this cell code, the code of this cell, okay, last class. But let's just take a look at today in the Jupyter Notebook, okay, in the code cell. So you see in the code cell, so this is the first line of code. We also call it a Python statement, okay. So this is assignment statement. So you assign integer number 10 to variable int var, okay? And int var, it doesn't have type. The data type is integer, and that integer is associated with this object. The value is 10, okay? And here, the second line of code, So this is second line of code, statement 2, okay, another statement, programming language statement. And this statement is also an assignment statement. So it assigns a decimal point, is a decimal number, floating number to a variable, and the variable name is float var, okay? And the variable doesn't have type. The type is stored in this value, okay, basically in this objects. And this object is a float objects. Okay, the third line of code, so the third statement is a print, so output statement. And this output statement last class, we also said, because it started with F, so it's a formatted output, okay? And here, for this part, so for the print statement, it has a quotation mark. So whatever is inside the quotation mark is considered as a string literals, okay? But this part is not a string literal. So this curly brackets within it, what it holds, we call it a placeholder. And this placeholder is the variable from the previous statements, okay? The first variable and the second variable, okay? The placeholder. And then when it output, it will be replaced with the respective value that it stored. And for this part, this is for the formatting. It formats the decimal point with 2 decimal point, okay? And here it indicates it's a floating number formatting. So when we run it, so we run here, you can run, it's called run this cell, and then it advanced to the next one. Is it? You can also select here, run. So here you can run selected cell. So now you select this cell. So it run this selected cell. And the output, so this is the output. So the output you see is from, so output is from this print statement, okay? And in Python, you can also do this. You can just get that float. Don't use the print, okay? But in this case, you can only get, oh, I cannot type the remaining, the VRA. Yeah, we can also run this. There is it? Float var. Oh, I have a var here for some reason typed. The entity C is also output, is it? Yeah, so, but if you want to output, like this case, it will only output 1. It cannot out, if you type another interval, it won't output. Okay, so that's why we have the print statement. Okay, so if you want output more items, then you need to use print statement. And this is also a markdown cell, so it doesn't contain code, it's just comments, okay? And if you run it, it will output whatever the format you follow the markdown code formatting. And you can check with the Python documentation, okay, regarding the Jupyter Notebook, not Python. Jupyter Notebooks is documentation regarding markdown cell, how to format. And the second code cell is about string, okay? And last class we discussed there are 3 types of string that using quotation marks. So the first is single quotation mark. Second is double quotation mark, and the third is triple quotation mark. And the difference among them is the triple quotation support multi-line of strings. Single quotation and the double quotation only support single line, not a multi-line, okay, single line. And I also explained the difference between single quotation and the double quotation in what scenario you select to use, okay? And we also try to output the above 3 variables, is it? So we continue to use the formatted print statement, and we have the placeholder for the above three variables. So here the curly brackets for the first variable, and the second curly brackets hold the second variable, and the third one for the third variable. And here this /n is for the new line, for the output, okay? So you see, when we run this cell, the output, you see, there's 3 lines. Is it, even though when you write it in 1 line, but the output is, so for each variable, the value its output is in a different line. So that's because of this /n. Okay, those, if you learn other programming languages, the rule is the same for this. So this is regarding the string. And then if you recall last class, we moved to data structure, okay? We discussed these 4 types of data structure: list, tuples, dictionaries, and the sets, okay? And if you recall, list is mutable, okay? And it's linear sequence data structure list. And also list, Python list is heterogeneous, so it can store different type of data, okay? This is different because it's different from other programming language. That's because Python is not a typed programming language, okay? So for the first list, so here we show you create, so this you create a list. Here you create a list with a square brackets. So square brackets represent list. And here in this list, you place 6 items, 6 elements. So integer is the first element. String is the second element. The decimal, the floating number is the third one. Boolean value is the fourth one. So here you can have another list, okay? And this is a dictionary, okay? So you have 6 elements in this variable list, okay? And then you can output this list. So we just use a regular print. So this is not a formatted output. You see, for this not formatted output, don't put this variable within it, okay? Within the literal, within the quotation mark. You need to put it outside, okay? So comma and then the variable name. And last class, we also explained is that for list, it's mutable, so it can add a new item. You can also remove existing item, and you can also update the values, okay? So here what we show is you add 1 item at the end of the list. So at here, at the end of the list. So here we call the append function of list. And what do we add? We add another list. So even though there are multiple items, there are 2 items in this list, but it is considered as 1 item. Okay, it's a list. And then you output the updated one, is it? So we run this cell. Did you see the output? So the first one is the original list. The second one, did you see? The item is added. So you have comma and then with the new list added at the end of the list. Okay. So that's regarding list. And then we move to tuples. Okay. Tuple, remember, it's immutable collection of items. It's also ordered. Okay. And it's also heterogeneous. And for tuple, also the elements also must be immutable and hashable. Okay, keep that in mind. So and for this, oh, I got that messed up. That's not for tuple, that's for set. Okay, I'm sorry. So for tuple, it's immutable collection of items. Okay. So it's immutable. So that means you cannot add or remove items. And over here we show, so for tuple, you can create with parentheses, okay? And here the same 6 items, this time we create, but we use parentheses, so that's a tuple, okay? And if we run it, you see the output, it's also include the parentheses, so the output is also a tuple, okay? So that's the concept for tuple. And the next one is about dictionary. Dictionary is key value pair. And remember, dictionary is not ordered, okay? So it doesn't preserve the order that you add the items. And dictionary's key, so keep that in mind. Key can only be immutable objects. So list cannot be key, okay, but the tuple can serve as key, okay. And the value can be any data type. So mutable, immutable, everything is okay. So here, let's see, we define a dictionary. And this dictionary will store some information about Apple stock, okay. So we have 3 key value pair. So this is the first key value pair. And in dictionary, key and the value pair is separated by colon, okay? And over here, key is string, okay? So this is the symbol. So basically it's a ticker, okay? And so this is a ticker. The second key value pair is regarding how many shares you buy. Is that you bought. Okay, so here the number of shares you buy is 100. And the third one is about specific day's price, closing price, assuming, okay. So it's $150.25. And here it shows the total value that you have currently, yeah, holding position that for the. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 pair of key value pair, okay, for this dictionary. And to access values for dictionary, you use key, okay. And the last class we also discussed key is a very dictionary is a very, very important data structure in computer science, okay, because the lookup speed is much, much faster because it doesn't need a comparison. Is that it uses a hash code to just directly, with the hash code, just directly find the item, okay, no comparison. So for list tuple, then it needs to do like 1 by 1 comparison, okay. So for dictionary, no comparison needed. And you can also modify value, like here it shows. Oh, I forgot to mention. So in Python programming language, did you see here? I have a pound sign followed by, so that's called a comment line. Okay, so comments. So the pound sign represents comments. So comments is not part of the code. So it's not executable, okay? So it's just serves the purpose of documentation. And with Jupyter Notebook, the nice thing is you have markdown cell. So normally markdown cell is you wanted to do some documentation, okay, about the purpose of this cell, objectives, some kind of explanation, is there reports or something? And over here, so generally speaking, with coding with programming language, normally we also do comments. Is that like over here you do kind of line comments. Sometimes you also do like function comments. Is that block comments, all sorts of comments. So for comments in Python, you use the pound sign. Okay, so then Python interpreter, it will know, okay, this is line of code. I'm not going to run it. So it's just for purpose for the documentation. Okay, so you access value using key. So this is different from list and tuple. List and tuple, you use index to access, okay? So you provide the key. So what this ticker will give you is it will give you AAPL, okay, give you Apple's ticker. And then you see over here, you modify. You can also modify, is it because dictionary itself is mutable, so you can modify. But the key you cannot, you can modify the value. So value is not going to be 100 anymore. It's going to be 150 shares, okay? You can also add a new key value pair. So this is one approach. There are some other approach. You can add new key value pair, okay? So you just provide the key and provide the value. If the key doesn't exist, then it know, okay, this is a new key value pair. And you can also get all of the keys as a list. So here you call the dot keys function. So it will return all of the keys, okay? And return all of the keys, but it's not presentable, okay? It's an iterable thing. So if we wanted to output nicely, and you can put all of the items in a list. So here you call list constructor, okay? So basically what this does is it call, oh. So here it call list. So this is lists constructor. So if you learn other programming language, you learn like a class. Class has constructor. We will see if we have time, we can also go over, okay, in Python, how do we create a class, okay? So class is used to build a customized group of objects, okay, category of objects. So similar, you can retrieve all of the values and then give it to a list, okay, call lists constructor. You can also get all of the items. So items means key value pair, okay? And also provide it to a list. So create a list with all of the items. This is the get method in dictionary, okay? So the get method, what a get method does, you see, normally get method, you can just like provide one argument, is it? So whatever we plug in is called a argument, function argument when you plug in, okay? When you define functions, later on we will see, that's called a parameter. So here you have the first argument. So here this is considered a second argument. So when you use the get function, you have two arguments. So the first argument is key. The second argument is if going up already exists in the dictionary, then it will return that value, the respective value. But if the going up is not a key in the list, in the dictionary, then it will use this as a value for the get function for the specified key. Okay, so that's what this get function means. And we also have the set default. Set default is that it's modify the dictionary if key doesn't exist. Okay, doesn't exist if the key. And here it says because going down doesn't exist in the dictionary, is it? So this set default will add this key to the dictionary with this provided value. So whatever value you provide here, it will do that. Okay, so so these two, get and set, if you compare with the updates of the value and add new, so it's kind of, you know, combine the both. Okay. And if we run this cell, So here is the output, is it? So here, did you see it to provide all keys? So this statement is the output of the, so it corresponds to this print statement. And for this all values, what it output is corresponding to this print statement. And what is the next one? So over here, you have all of the items, is it? So what it provides is the output is this. So corresponding to this output. And for this print statement, it try to figure out going up the key. It doesn't exist. So it use the second argument. Okay. The next one set default, is it? So now you see the going down added to the dictionary, okay, with the provided values. So the output corresponding to this output, this print statement. So that's about dictionary key value pair. And the next one is regarding set. And the set is unordered, and it only allows unique items. And also be careful, okay, within set, each element must be immutable and hashable. Okay, so be careful about this. And if you wanted to edit the markdown cell, you can just double click it. Okay, then you can like edit. So in set, element must be immutable and hashable. So then in this case, list cannot be item of set. Okay, so keep that in mind. And also, if you take a list, you also use the curly brackets, similar as dictionary. Okay, but it doesn't have colon, so it's not a key value pair. And also set is unique. Item must be unique. So if you take a look over here, we have 2 can assigned to this set. Is it? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 items. And if we do the print output statement, did you see if you output it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it only have 5 items. For 10, it only has single one. And also, if you take a look at this output, the output is not in the same order as your input, is it? So that's why it says unordered. This is the output is not the same as the order you add. And the same thing for the dictionary, if you take a look. The dictionary, first you add a symbol, share, price, and the total value, is it? But for the output, you see symbol, share, price, total value. Oh, yeah, it does follow the, but suppose it's also not ordered, okay? But in this case, it is just use that order, okay? And the next, I remember last class, we also discussed the control structure. And for control structure, there are 2 types of, so we can run this. Oh, yeah. So this markdown, okay. And there are 2 types of control structure. One is conditional control structure. Conditional control structure is the if statement. Okay, and for if state, there are, we discussed you have 2-way, multiple way, is it? And we also have loop, and for loop we have for loop. We also have while loop. Okay, so that's control structure. So let's take a look at this block of code. So this cell, and this cell mostly is regarding if statement. So here, so the first is assignment statement. So you assign value to a variable, assign second value to a variable, assign third value to a variable, okay? And after that, okay, we check. So this is the if statement. For this if statement, so here is different from other programming language. You use colon to start your block, okay? And for each block, did you see you have indentation? If you don't do the indentation, it will report error. You can try, okay? At home, you can try to play around. If you don't do this, it's completely different there. And here you need to do indentation. Do indentation, then it knows, okay, this statement, so this line of code is within this if block. So this two line is considered one block, okay? And here, the null, so null doesn't mean it have any value, okay? So it's a null value. So it assigns the null value to the ROI, so return of investment, okay? So this ROI is a variable, okay? And here also in Python is different. In other programming language, if you do like a double ROI, then that ROI, that this variable is only, the scope will only be within this block. Outside of the block, you cannot access it. But that's not true in Python, okay? Python, so this ROI looks like after it is declared, you can keep accessing it, okay? So that's a little bit different from other programming languages regarding the variable's scope. And then you see here, you access that ROI again. Is that in other programming language, you cannot access it. If you just, you need to declare like, so in other programming language, you need to declare that ROI here before that if statement, but that's not true in Python. Yeah, you can start over here, you start to use that variable, then it can continue be accessible, the scope, okay? And okay, so then if the price is not zero, so that means if it's zero, it will go to this block. If it is not zero, it will go to second block. Okay, the else block. And the same thing, it has colon, and you need to do indentation, okay? So this ROI, it gives the calculation formula, okay? And then next you define another earned value. So here this earned is a variable, so you have another assignment statement. And this part is called an expression, okay? So this is just arithmetic expression. So you use this investment times ROI and then divide 100, okay? So this part is considered as, I need to do here. So this is arithmetic expression, okay. So it's using the multiplication and the division and the plus and the minus, okay. So it's just like a kind of like a math, okay, formula, okay. So in programming language, normally we use asterisk for multiplication, okay. So anyway, so this is math, we call it arithmetic expression. Oh, I forgot my similar here. So here it also arithmetic expression, okay. And here you use parentheses to specify the preference. So if you don't do that, if you don't do parentheses, then it will do division first, is it? But here you want subtraction first, so you need to use parentheses, okay, to emphasize the subtraction is preferred, so its preference is ahead of division, okay? So similar as math, okay, following the math rule here. Okay, so this is two-way conditional check, okay? And the next part shows multi-way conditional check. So here then we calculate ROI. Then you can use the ROI to do the check. Okay, so this is a comparison statement. So if ROI is greater than 10, okay, then you output this information. And this information you output, you use formatted output. And here, if you take another close look, this is formatted output for floating number, etc. So for ROI. And here you have another formatted output with 2 decimal points. And then you have the else if. So if this is, then it will check the next condition. So if it's greater than 10, no. Then if it's, so if it goes to this line, that means it's greater than 0, but less than 10. Okay, because less than equal than 10, because if it's greater than 10, it will already go to this block. If it is not that condition, it will go to this block, meet this condition, and go to this block. Then here, similar, it uses placeholder of ROI and the earned as the placeholder, okay? And this is for the formatting, okay, 2 decimal point. And then next is the third condition, okay, else if. So this is to check if both values are the same, using equal to check. Okay, so be careful. Equal is to do condition check, condition equal check. So I can put comments. So I explain so detailed is because so in case some student didn't have any programming background, but I think suppose everyone should have programming background. Okay, so this is a conditional equal check. Equal check. Okay, so using that using this equal. Okay, so that's for conditional equal check. So if it's equal to 0, then you let it go to this print statement. If all the above 3 conditions doesn't meet, then all the remaining will go to the last else. Okay, so this is multi-way condition decision. And what the next one show loop, okay? And the loop, there are 2 types, for loop and while loop. So here we have the for loop. But be careful, okay? So in Python, it doesn't support this kind of loop, like for I start from 0. You see, that's for other programming language, okay? Because if I write like this, so for integer I start from 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So that's other programming languages for loop, regular for loop, is it? So in Python, it doesn't have such for loop. Python only have the for each one, okay? So basically, here, the for loop is for each loop. In Python, we know, or in Java, we know for each loop. So basically here, this is considered the equivalence of the for each loop in Java. Okay, so next, let's take a look. So here we use this random function. Okay, and if you want to use a random function, generate a random number, you need to import the random package. Okay, so in Python, if you use some package that's not embedded like directly with Python programming language, then you need to specify the package that you want to use. Okay, so here we to use other packages, then you need this import statement. So this is called import statement. So you import and then give the package a name. Okay, you can also go to the module level. Okay, so here is just that package. Okay, random package. And then over here, we define a dictionary. Okay, so this is stock data. This is a dictionary. Okay, and for this dictionary, it has 3 key value pair. So the first key value pair is regarding Apple stock. And the second one is Tesla's stock. And the third one is Google's stock. Okay, and so here you use a random number to generate a random number and then then times 10, okay? And then you add 152.23, okay? And here you said round, so you just want it round 2 decimal point. That's what it means, okay? So, okay, so you have key. Key is string, value is floating number, okay? After that, if you want to output each key value pair, okay, so you can call the data items. So the data item, what it returns iterator. So item by item. So the iterator, if you want to output directly, it's not, you cannot do like directly. You need to call the next. Okay, so that's kind of similar as in Python, the iterable, call next. If you don't want to like to, because that's a lot of work, is it always call next, then that's why previously we do that, we convert it to list, is it? But over here, you can do, because this is in the for each loop, so it will automatically move to the next, okay? So over here, we use a for each loop. So you start with for. You have keyword in. After that, here you provide a sequence. Okay, so this is a sequence. So this sequence, in this case, is a dictionary. So after our class, you can try this kind of for each loop with our list, with our tuple, with the set. Okay, you can try it. Then you will see it output one by one. Okay, and here, because you call dictionaries data items, the item return key value pair, is it? So that's why here you provide the 2 loop variable for to hold the key value pair. Okay, so after for, this part is a loop variable, okay? This is a sequence. So in this case, the loop variable, you have 2 loop variable, symbol and price, to hold the key and value. If you call for symbol dot price in stock dot keys, then you don't need a price. You cannot have price because it only return keys. Is it? In that case, you just do for symbol in stock data dot keys. Okay. Similar, you can try with the data values. Okay, and you will see the effects. And then you do the formatted output. And here is the placeholder. So this time the placeholder comes from loop variable. Okay, symbol is the first loop variable, and the price is the second loop variable. Okay, so this is loop variable. And then here we have output. So the print statement, it automatically, each print statement print 1 line, is it? So that's why we have 3 output, each ticker and its price, stock price. Okay, yeah, so this is about a for loop. And next, let's take a look at the while loop. Okay, and the while loop, theoretically, it can do infinite loop, is it? Yeah, so like a server basically is kind of like a forever loop, okay? But sometimes you need to manually shut it down. That's within the loop, you can provide some manual execution, okay? So the while loop is the code will be executed as long as the condition is true, okay? So following the while, it's the condition. So you will provide the condition, okay? So here, let's see. So here we first provide the stock price. Then the next is a assignment statement. It assigns the value 180 to this variable called gas. And next we provide, so this will serve as loop counter, okay? So counter can be used to keep track of number of the iterations, okay? So here it's used to keep track the number of times you guessed. And then over here, so here is that while statement. If you take a close look, you will find after the while statement is a conditional check. So this is a conditional statement. So this conditional is a not equal to equal sign. That means equal statement. If you have exclamation mark and equal, that's not equal, okay? This means not equal. So it says, while gas is not equal to the apple price. So if your guessed price is not that apple price, then it will do the loop body, okay? It will do whatever inside the loop. And here, same thing, you need to provide a colon because that's the while block. Within it, you need to have indentation, okay? Okay, so first, we provide our gas value. So the gas value will be provided from user input, okay? So we need to manually input a value. And then you cast it to a floating number. And because this input, what you input typed in the keyboard, the input statement take in the string. So what it returns is a string. So that's why over here, but this apple price, it is a number, and we also want the gas to compare with number. So that's why here you need to cast it to a float number, okay? So this is called cast. So in programming language, this is called cast, okay? Oh. Okay, and after you get the value, your input value, so you first do subtraction. So you want to know the difference between the gas and the real price, is it? And then we take the absolute value. So ABS means the absolute value of the difference. So if the absolute value of the difference is less than 10, so that means whatever you guessed fall within 10, that means you're pretty close, is it? So then also you only guess 3 times. Then it says, okay, you guessed pretty close, is it? And this break statement means you will out of the loop. You will jump out of the loop. The loop will be terminated. Okay, it will not be continued. So break statement is also very useful when you use it combined with loop. It can also be used within for loop, okay? It can be used within while loop to break your, like over here to exit the loop, okay? And also if you take another look, you will find within the loop block, we also use an if block, is it? So here you have colon, And then here you have indentation again. Okay, so be careful. Okay, this break, you need to do the indentation. If you don't do the break, if you put break here, then it, then it either will report an error or it will just run here and then just jump out of the loop. Okay, so if you want this break belong to this if block, then you need to do indentation. Okay, so just be very careful about Python indentation. Okay, and then you do the second condition check. So for the second condition check, you check, okay, if the absolute price is greater than 10, but you guessed less than 3 times, then it will let you continue. Okay, so the loop will go back. It will not continue for the following. Okay, so then at this point, it will go back to the next guessing. If the above two condition not meet, so every other case, it will go to the else. And in this case, the else will also terminate the loop. Okay. And if you finish all of the condition check and you increment the guess time. So this increment guess time is belong to the for loop, but it doesn't belong to any of the if else block. Okay. So you see the indentation. Okay. So for Python, it's completely based on indentation. Okay. And we can try to run this program and then to see what the result is. Okay. You see, over here, it asks you to do the input. Is it suppose you do 100? Then it will ask you again. Is it okay? So suppose you do 170. Then it's still not close. Is it okay? So this time let's do 150. Then you say, okay, run out of guessing times. Okay. Yeah, so that's how this input statement works. Okay, so it will collect user input within Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and because this 100, even though you type 100, but it's a string, so that's why over here you need to convert it to float. And what the next one is about Python function. So that's a big part. Okay, all programming has a lot of function. The function's purpose is to provide code reusability. Okay, and for this function, we first import Yahoo Finance package. Okay, so you do import Yahoo Finance, and because if you do Yahoo Y Finance, that's a lot of word. Okay, when you try to use it inside your code, so that's why here we try to simplify, just to import Y Finance as YF, so that later on you see over here we use that. You just mention YF. You don't need to mention Y Finance, the whole word. Okay, so this serves as a substitute of Y Finance. That's what it means. Okay. Then let's see. So here we define a function. Okay, for Python, whenever you define function, you need to use this def statement. Okay. Def keyword. And for Python function, there is no return type you need, not like other programming, you need to use a void or integers or string something. Okay, so no type associated with it. But you need to provide the function a name. So here is a function name. And this symbol is function's parameter. Okay. And this whole def statement. So this is considered as a function header. Okay, function header. And here we use triple quotation mark for our comments because it involves multi-lines. Okay, so this also considered as like we can also call it F documentation, okay? And following that, the very first we do is the try except block. Okay, later on we will learn a little bit more about the try except block. And the purpose to use the try except is to provide a graceful, your application runs gracefully so that in case something is wrong, your program won't crash, okay? So let's see. Whatever you suspect that statement is going to cause trouble, then you put it in the try block, okay? So same thing for try, then you use colon. And here try, you have indentation because it's within the def function and it's part. So this is part of function body, okay? So this is called function header, and all this part is function body. So a function, Python function has two parts, the header parts and the body part, okay? And the body, you can use any kind of statement, assignment statement, if statement, loop, while or for loop statement, and all sorts of statement, okay, you can provide. And what is the first thing you want to do is you want to download the latest data, okay, from Yahoo Finance. So that's why here you call that download function. And you provide the ticker, okay. You want Apple, you want Tesla, or NVIDIA, is that something like that? And this period, so how many days is it? So you want 1 day or 5 days? 5 days is considered a week. That doesn't work anymore, okay? I did the code in summer, it still works. But this week when I check, it reports error and it recommended to use 5 days, okay, for 1 week. And you can also have 10 days and plus like 30 days, something like that. And this is interval, okay? Because if you want daily, is it, or minutes or hour, yeah, so depends. So then it will return you all the data, okay? 5 days stock price, okay? Not just stock price, it has stock price, stock volume, and plus some other information, okay? So whatever downloaded, it will be stored in this variable called stored data. Okay, because you do download, is it, in case if you don't have internet, then your program will broke, is it? So it will be broken. Yeah, if the program breaks, then yeah, user will have no idea what's going on. Is it user doesn't know, and is not an expert of program development, so it will know. So in order to avoid that kind of embarrassment, is it for your product? Okay, so here, so it may run into trouble. So that's why here we have the except statement. So except it will catch the error. Okay. So if there is some exception, okay, here it will still continue wrong. It won't just cause a crash, okay? So what it does is it will output, okay, what kind of error it causes this trouble. And in this case, because you want to return some dictionary regarding the specific ticker, and here because you cannot retrieve any value from Yahoo Finance. That's why you return null, okay? This null, this is a keyword from Python, okay? So you just want to return anything. And if everything runs smoothly, then this exception part will be skipped. So it will collect stock data, then it will jump to this current price and current volume part. So then you specify, okay, I want to get the closing price. And later on, we will learn. Right now, you don't need to worry, okay? Because what it returns is some data frame. So we will learn it in pandas. And here you want to get the latest one, okay, the last one. So basically the fifth day's price, closing price, okay. And the fifth day's volume, and you store them in these two variables. And then here is what we return. So this is return statement. So function can return some value, okay. Function doesn't always need to return something. Sometimes function just does something, then you don't need the return statement. And in this case, you want to return. And what to return? To return a dictionary. Okay, and for this dictionary, okay, you have stock ticker, the current price, and the current volume. Okay, so this is similar as what we already learned regarding dictionary. So you create a dictionary and you return it, okay? And then next, let's see. Over here, okay, so we put 3 stock ticker, Google, Apple, and Tesla, into a list. So this is a list. Then we do the for each loop, okay, the for loop. So this loop, a list, and this loop variable will retrieve Google first, Apple next, and Tesla the last. Okay, so it first get Google. Okay, so it will plug in Google to this function. So this ticker, the loop variable will be passed in as argument. Okay, so in this case, the get stock data, so this function's argument will be Google. So symbol will be replaced by Google. So then over here, it's called download, then Google. Okay, it will find Google's data, and then it will get Google's closing price, volume, and create Google's related dictionary and return it. And you will have Google's dictionary, okay? And if this does exist, is it so here? If it is not a null value, is it? Then because that's a dictionary, is it? So you want to have the key value separated. You want to filter, you want to extract the respective key and value. So you use this for loop, okay, and provide this two loop variable, okay, key and value. And then you output the formatted value, okay, key value. And the second one is going to be Apple, is it? So now you plug in Apple to this function, get stock data. So it will be AAPL. And then Yahoo download will be download the AAPL Apples. It will get Apple's 5 day. So if it runs smoothly, if we have internet, then it will get its close price, volume, and build that dictionary, etc. And then it will move to this if statement. Okay. And then it will go back again, the loop, and find the Tesla. So get a Tesla, then the TSL will be passed into this function. Then Yahoo download will download TSL. Okay, will download Tesla's, and it will retrieve Tesla's price, volume, and then build the related Tesla's stock dictionary. And with that dictionary, then you get its key and its value, and you output it. Okay. And this is probably what I ran yesterday's. Okay. And with yesterday's, you see stock, Google stock price, volume, Apple's, and Tesla's, is it? And right now, if you run it, you may see today is different. Okay, 191.91. Let's see what we get. Oh, yeah, did you see it's a change? It's 194. Okay, yeah, increased 5. I forgot what yesterday's the result is Apple's and the Tesla's. Okay. Okay, so that's all of the coding regarding our last class's theoretical contents. Okay, and here is the respective collab. So if you have local Jupyter Notebook, you can also upload it to your Google Colab. Okay, but you do need a Google account. So once you have Google account, then you can just find the Colab and go ahead to use it. Okay, so here I have it and I use it. And I also did the class, our slides exercise questions over here. Okay. Yeah, and we will see if we have time and we can go over it. But you can see it's it's pretty similar. Okay, the Colab because it's also Jupyter Notebook, so it's also the data IPY and NB. Okay, so Python notebook. Okay, but here it doesn't use a markup; it's called text. Okay, so pretty much similar. Okay, so you can use both, but with our cases is because later on we are going to deal a lot of files, and those files are going to be local files. So if we use Colab, it will not that convenient. Okay, but if you don't have file, then Colab is preferred. And I haven't tried professional version of Colab. I don't know if they can support like a cloud file more convenient. Okay, so that's all of the information for today. I'm going to stop recording.